started from the Waikato, and then it went all the way into Kopuera, and then into Lake Waikare. It encompassed almost the whole of the township of where Rangiriri stands now, or on the crest of the hill anyway. And they did it so that they could move easily around. So there wasn't just one sort of snake-like trench, there were a number.
It's not a conventional rectangular type pa, it's a long trench that's nearly 1 kilometre long. Part of the brilliance of the design was that it looked underwhelming from a distance, and the British didn't really realise that the skill and the intricacy that had gone into the design of that pa.
When Tawhia was there at Rangiriri, he instructed our people not to fight, actually to go inland, go into the forests. This is what the wharepu says. Ki te rere te toto, me rere I runga I tō mātou whenua ake. If blood is to be shed, let it be shed on our own land. Kāre mātou e whakai. We disagree with you, King. We will remain here, we will fight. Kawe he te kingi, ka noho mai te iwi ki kona.
The British firepower is terrifying. From the river, Ironsides pound the 500 defenders in the pa.
The Pioneer and other gunboats had come down. They were shelling from the river. You were getting fire from the cannons on the land. And so it was a totally brand new experience. But they had heard about cannon fire, and that's why the trench warfare was established. And they tried to do them so that it absorbed a whole lot of the shock.
The women and children will be in parts of it more lower down, whereas the men will be up higher. And the women and children's job was to put the powder and the shot into the musket, pass it up, shoot, throw it down again, so it was a continuous.
The British fear the defenders will slip the net if an attack isn't mounted immediately. So, by late afternoon, they launch a full frontal assault. But as they charge through the bracken and onto the pa itself, they begin to realise just how formidable it actually is. The defenders have lured their vastly better equipped foes into a trap.
It wasn't until troops stumbled into the forward trenches, and they were much deeper than they are today. It wasn't until then that they finally realised what they were in for. It was a shooting gallery.
The trenches at Rangiriri are 4 metres deep, and when the British attempt to scale those on the 20th of November 1863, they find that their ladders aren't long enough.
Well, that's not good, eh? So, you know, you get there, you get stabbed with a bayonet or shot with a musket, and so they had to go back and they had to make extensions to their ladders so that they could get all the way up to the top of the parapet.
The British make repeated attempts to storm that, and they suffer heavy casualties.
It's a desperate situation. Casualties are piling up as multiple assaults on the pa fail. The defenders hold out till nightfall, but they know they can't hold out much longer. They're almost surrounded. The outcome is inevitable. Those who can escape, those who can't, are taken prisoner of war and forced marched to Auckland, where they're jailed on a barge on the Waitemata harbour. In the confusion, women and children make a run for it, down the long eastern escape route and through the swamp. Hopelessly trying to escape capture, but the troops have the higher ground.
Whilst they were trying to still negotiate and things, they asked the women and the children to escape to the little wakas out on the lake.
They began to run because they were being shot at.
They were struggling, carrying babies and trying to wade through water and getting caught in weeds. The government troops was on top of the hills, just taking pot shots at them from a downward angle.
They were literally slaughtered. All I can see is the woman dying, injured, wounded. All I can see is children dying, falling, screaming out to their mother and father, and falling into the lake. They named the lake Ko Puera, those who were shot.